looking over here, it is because I'm talking to you and I want to see your face. So I'm not ignoring you or answering emails. That's just how we're rolling today. Cool. Well, you are here for Facebook ads best practices. That is the goal of today's class. My goal is to help you grow your business by 12 transactions per year with better quality Facebook leads. So the idea being, if you run really good ads, that you can add to your pipeline one real human a month and eventually close those in or turn those into closed deals. How do we like that idea? 12 more transactions a year. Sound good to anybody else?
Yep. Sounds great.
Excellent. All right. We are going to go ahead and get started. I am Crystal LeProhon. I am the Market Center Tech Trainer and the Director of Shared Services for the Ranch Brokerage Network. So that's Keller Williams Puget Sound and Mountains to Sound and all of our business centers and mega agent offices attached with that. I work with just under 500 agents and I love what I get to do. I have a Bachelor's of Arts in Music and Communication from the Masters University. I am a single mom of 2 teenage girls, and I am the former head of marketing and media, along with the director of theatrical arts for Allegro Performing Arts Academy. So that's a little bit about how I got here. This job came to me because it is a combination of 2 things I am passionate about: education and technology. So I am an educator first who happened to learn how to educate technology, and I really enjoy it. I would love to hear a little bit from you. What made you join this class today? What are you hoping to get out of today?
They can hear you if you can't step up. Okay. Yeah.
I'll start.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, there's always somebody that's got to, right, Mary?
Yes.
Hey, I just want to grow my business. Yeah, I want to grow my business. I do a lot of Facebook posts, but there's very little engagement on them. I try to blend a mix of real estate technology or real estate information and also personal. So it's not always that way. But yeah, the engagement is real limited. So I'm looking for a way to improve upon that.
Excellent. Well, there's definitely a difference between a Facebook ad and a Facebook post. We're going to focus mainly on our ads today, but we're going to talk about how they differ from posts and what things you should post versus which things should be ads. So we can definitely touch on that conversation. I would love for like 2 or 3 more people to share with me what you're hoping to get out of today.
More leads. Rachel Washington said more leads.
More leads. Excellent. We love that. Absolutely. My goal is not only to get you more leads, but more leads that are real human beings who want to have a conversation with you. So our goal is to make good ads that maybe don't give us a higher number of leads, but those leads are what I would call better, if I'm going to put the word on it.
I want to get my listing sold that not one single agent has looked at it. So,
well, goodness, I can definitely give you some strategies on that. I run listing ads all day, every day. So we're going to focus heavily on those. So I'm happy to help with that. All right. Anybody else want to share what brought them to class today?
I wanted to see, like you said, like what exactly should be an ad versus a post. And then another issue that I kind of feel like I run into with my social media is most of my friends are, most of my family and friends, they live in Virginia.
Okay.
So I need to figure out how to reach more of my family and friends or people on Facebook from here.
Awesome. All right. Well, I am excited to hop in and hopefully get a lot of your questions answered. So there are 3 objectives that we're going to focus on today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to track records for success. That means we're going to look at what ads have been running, how they're doing, how we measure success, how you are going to measure your success and track it. Because my assumption is most of you intend to be in business for the long haul. So our goal is to learn how we can follow our ads, see what they're doing for us, make tiny adjustments so that in the long run, we're running the best, most successful ads that we can. The next thing we're going to do is look at what a dynamic and engaging ad looks like. So what type of ads do I run? What are the do's and don'ts? And how to make an ad that's really going to generate the most bang for your buck. The last thing we're going to talk about is ads best practices. So we're going to talk about why it's a good idea to run your ads through command. And we're going to talk about exactly what options to choose within our system and in order to make sure that you get the best return on your investment. Sound like a plan?
Yes.
Awesome.
Can I jump in with a question?
I would love for you to ask me a question.
Thanks. I know you know the Brevity platform, so some of us use Brevity.
Okay.
Will this translate that way as well?
Definitely the first two sections are universal. In the last section, I am going to touch on why you should run your ads through command. Certainly doesn't mean you have to, and there will be benefit there. But also let me tell you, I've got some teams in my office who run Brevity, several of them. And my teams in my office that run Brevity still run their ads through command because it's to them a better platform. I don't know much about ads in Brevity, so like do with that what you want. I just want you to know it's an option available to you.
Question, Crystal.
Yeah.
Should everybody have command up?
Not necessary yet.
Okay.
Maybe later.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. All
But
right.
I
Any
don't
other
use
questions?
them.
All right. I'm going to move forward. All right. I have a question. What would it look like if your business grew by $144,000 this year? What would that mean for you?
Freedom. Security, yeah.
Freedom. Ooh, tell me more.
Not being scared to, gosh, what does freedom mean? Time for my family, time with my daughter. She's going away or finished, just graduated from college, you know, helping her get her feet on the ground.
Excellent. I love that. And one more person, what would an extra $144,000 in your business mean?
Be able to invest in your future.
I love that. Investing in your future. Absolutely. Being able to look at some of those someday goals, right? Well, I don't know in your market specifically. In my market, the average commission is about 12,000. So if we can add 12 transactions for you, 12 times 12,000 is 144,000. So that's where we're getting that number from. So that's the goal I want us to keep in mind as we're talking about ads best practices. All right. Okay. I want to share with you, these are some national averages on how we can calculate the return on investment for our lead generation activities. This is a activity that I would suggest you do with any of your current lead generation sources to try to figure out what is the return on the investment that you're getting. So with your business, if you do a lot of events, I would encourage you to look at what those events are costing and how many ultimately transactions you're garnering from those events, because you're going to find one of two things. You are going to find that you have activities that are doing really well that you want to double down on. You want to do more of those things and maybe put more money and investment towards those things because they have a good return on investment. Or you're going to find that you're spending money that's not really creating a return for you. So my suggestion to you would be, as an activity, that this is something that you want to look at for all of your business. And as we're talking about Facebook ads, as you start to run them, these are good metrics to keep an eye on to see what the return on investment is for you. I will tell you that these are national numbers, so these are real, not made up numbers. On what we are seeing as a return on investment for these different ad platforms. So you can see there's a formula up at the top there. So if this is an experiment you want to do or an exercise you want to do, I would write down that formula. So you take the income that was produced minus the lead generation expenses. You divide that by the lead generation expense, and what you get is your return on investment. So if we're looking at that first one at Zillow leads, we see that people are investing $5,000 in Zillow leads to get about 83 leads that lead to 3 transactions. That's a return, that's an ROI of $5. So for every dollar you spend, you're making 5. Doesn't sound too bad until you pop down a little further and we look at things like direct mail. Okay, I'm spending $3,800, getting 64 leads, 8 transactions. I get $20 for every dollar I spend, which is way better than 5. If we look at Facebook ads, we are seeing that people are investing $100 to get 18 leads that result in 2 transactions, and that's a return on investment of almost $200 on the dollar. I am going to show you in a little bit some of the averages in my office, what I'm seeing right now, what I've seen over the last, I think it's like 3 months is what I have access to. And it's not fully inclusive of what's happening in my office. It's frankly just the ones I remembered to write down. But I will say I was speaking with an agent in my office yesterday, and they are seeing for every 10 leads, 1 really good person to put in their pipeline right now. That's their current rate of return. So take that for what it's worth, but this is why I'm passionate about speaking about Facebook leads. It's common to hear that they're bad leads, or, you know, they're not worth it, or it's too much money. And I just want you to be able to really see the math on it, that this is real numbers, what we're seeing, that it is worth the time to learn how to do it well. Any questions about the numbers before I keep going?
No.
Cool. All right, I'm going to move forward. This is a QR code for something called an A/B tracker. An A/B tracker is a way for you to follow your Facebook ads. I was like, this is not right. I missed something. That's because it's not in a slide. Hold on. We'll talk about the A/B tracker in a minute. So I want to go ahead and pull up my in-office stats. So I am also the head of shared services for the Range Brokerage Network, which means I do all of our real estate concierge, which means if you don't want to run an ad, I will run it for you, and a lot of other things, which means I get access to a lot of our ads. And what I want to show you is a few things that we've learned over the last 3 months. Now we know, and I'm going to talk with you in a little bit, that listing ads do the best. They get the most bang for their buck. So anytime you have a listing and you can run a listing ad or run a listing ad for another agent in your office, we like those. We're going to talk about how to run ads when you don't have a listing and what those can look like as well, and how to make them look most like a listing so that they get the most activity. But I want to show you a few things. One thing we've learned is just sold ads. While they're great for brand recognition, meaning I want people to see my face, I want people to know that I'm doing a lot of business, I want to look busy in real estate. We know that just sold ads are great for that. They are not great for lead generation. So we just need to keep that in mind. If we're running an ad, we want to make sure we know what our goal is. If our goal is to lead generate, a just sold ad isn't going to do that for us. If our goal is brand recognition, people seeing that we're in business, then a just sold ad is fine. We just want to make sure that we have clear expectations. Some other things that we are seeing is Instagram is not great for lead generation. Again, great for brand recognition. What we are seeing is that people don't click on Instagram ads. And in order to generate a lead, you need to have somebody click on your ad. So like this, where is it? This Lake Taps ad garnered 20 leads, but 17 of them were from Facebook. And that's where half of the ad money went to. So imagine if we had put all of the ad budget to Facebook and none to Instagram, how many more leads would have been generated? So that's one thing I want us to keep track of, is that we're looking at and we're noticing is if your goal is lead generation, you want to run on Facebook, that's where the leads are. And you want to make sure you're running the type of ads that people want to click on. And we're just seeing that just sold really isn't one of those right now. I want you all to pay specific attention to this area. You'll see that we have, Terry, are you still on this call? Because I'm going to talk about you. These are Terry's.
Yes.
Okay, I'm talking about you.
Okay.
So these are Terry's. These are Terry's ads that I ran for him.
Lake Tap's ugly.
Lake Tap's ugly. There's a reason. There's a reason I called it that. I'm going to explain it right now. Here's why. It was for the purposes of this class. That's not what it said a minute ago. So here's the reason. Terry had a luxury property and a Lake Tap's property that I'm calling the ugly property for a reason. That went live within the same time frame. So we were running these ads simultaneously. It is very common for me to hear from agents, I don't want to market X listing because it's not cute. Like this Lake Tap's listing, there's a lot of trees in the front of the house. It's on a great piece of property. It's beautiful, but it looks kind of sad. There's no staging in it. So there's like the interior pictures are pretty empty.
It's ugly.
It's ugly. It's not cute. The luxury listing, on the other hand, is beautiful. The elevation is gorgeous. We know for a fact that people click on ugly homes. If you look at Terry's ad metrics, the Lake Tap's ugly got a total of 44 leads. And the Lake Fenwick luxury property currently is sitting at a total of 11. Now I'm running some more ads on that property today. The Lake Tap's property sold. So all that to say, I hear agents talk themselves out of marketing because they are afraid to put what they call an ugly listing on the internet. Ugly listings garner a lot more lead generation for two reasons. Reason number one is I know that I cannot afford the luxury lakefront Lake Fenwick property. I'm not going to click on it. I know I can't afford it. What's the point, right? But I might be able to afford the ugly house, right? So there's a lot more people who are interested in clicking on a house that looks attainable, right? If it needs some work, maybe it's something I can afford. So I'm more likely to click on it. I'm more likely to look, and I'm more likely to be a person who doesn't own a house yet and is interested in trying to buy a home. So you're going to get a lot more first-time home buyers with those. The second reason that people click on ugly homes is because people are curious by nature. They want to see inside the home. And we're going to talk about how to make sure that no matter what the property looks like, we help encourage people to click on our ad in order to see the things that they're interested in. People are curious. They want to see inside homes. So we're going to help create some ads that motivate them to click. Any questions about any of the metrics that I am showing you right now? Okay, I'm going to keep moving. You'll see that.
I'm going to jump in if you don't
yes,
mind.
please, Kelly, go ahead.
Yeah. Are these results a week, a day, a month?
So this first column of numbers is how many days we ran the ad. So I tend to run ads for 4 to 7 business days. Sometimes, often with these listings, you know, we got the ad up and running on Friday, and we knew that an offer review date was Monday or Tuesday, and it was probably going to go pending. So we've been doing shorter chunks these 3 days. But 5 to 7 days is kind of my sweet spot that I prefer. And an ad budget of about $5 to $7 a day. So those are the metrics I would think about when you're running an ad. It doesn't need to be grandiose and expensive. We really try to do 5 to 7 business days, $5 to $7 a day. That seems to be the sweet spot for garnering a good number of leads. That's a good question. Any other questions?
I am going to ask one. I'm going to go back. I put it in chat, but you didn't see it.
I can't see the chat. Well, I'm screen sharing. Sorry.
There you go. So you were looking at lead gen ROI, and I asked if the results were, and the expenses, I guess, were monthly or over time, or what?
I don't know is the answer. I got these stats from KWRI, but I didn't think to ask that question. If the numbers, I know that they are a national average, but I don't know if they're a national average of a month, a week, a year. My assumption and guess is per month, just because I know what agents who've joined our office recently were spending on Zillow, and those numbers match. So that's my guess. those are monthly averages. Good question. Any other questions before I keep moving? All right. So going back to Terry here for a second, you can see we have 2 ads for lake taps and 2 ads for the luxury lakefront property. That is because we were doing something called A/B testing. And this is something I highly suggest for you if you are going to make Facebook advertising a regular part of your lead generation. What that means is running 2 different ads that are similar with a few differences. So that may be ad 1 has emojis in the text and ad 2 does not have emojis in the text. It may be that my ad number 1 has carousel photos, so it's got 3 or 4 photos to choose from, and ad number 2 has only 1 exterior photo. The reason we do this is what works for me today in my market isn't necessarily what's going to work for you in your market. It's not necessary, and for us it probably is because we're both in, within miles of each other. But in general, we want to keep running tests because also the algorithm changes. What's working on Facebook today is not what's going to work in Facebook 6 months from now. There are subtle shifts in what people want to click on and what works and what the Facebook algorithm pushes forward and all of those things. So if we're constantly running little minute tests and tracking the results, then we're always going to be ahead of any of those changes and always be able to run dynamic ads. I have a tracker for tracking A/B testing. So it allows you to put in the ad name, how long you ran it, where you ran it, what the metrics were. All of these metrics are available in command. So you'll see what all of these are. Ignore these 3, or these 2, they're not that important. But this CPLC is what you paid per lead. So this is cost per lead click. That's what that is. And then what you spent, what your goal was, how many impressions it got, how many leads were captured, what time you posted it. You can put all the information so that you can see how your ads are doing and become a smarter ad runner.
Crystal,
Yes.
does the impressions mean that they just viewed it and they didn't click?
And so let's talk about that. We've got impressions, we've got views, and then we've got, oh, that's not what I meant to push. Hold on. This is a QR code, so you can get access to the A/B tracker. So feel free to scan that. It may ask you to ask for permission for the tracker. And if you do that, I promise I will grant it. So an impression means they scrolled past it. So if I'm on Facebook and I'm on my phone and I'm scrolling and an ad moves past my eyeballs, that's an impression. It was on my feed, my eyeballs saw it.
Okay.
Does not mean I interacted with it. A view might mean, or a click might mean that I clicked the view more to see more words, or I clicked on the image so that I could see it bigger. I interacted with it in some way, but not enough to click that learn more button, which is the magic key to getting the lead. So I can see how many people were scrolled past it, how many people stopped and interacted with it in some way. And then I get the how many people actually clicked the button and are a legitimate lead. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Did I leave this QR code up long enough that everybody could scan it and get the access to the A/B tracker?
Yep. Yes, thank you.
Okay. We're going to play a little game. We're going to play, are you a good ad or a bad ad?
Oh dear.
So I have 4 ads here. One of them is a good ad. 3 of them are bad ads. I want you to guess for me what, and go ahead and put in the chat or say out loud if you're in the room, but which ad do you think is a good ad?
A, say A too.
A, okay, I hear some votes for A.
A, definitely.
A, okay. A, I see A in the chat. I see D in the chat. Janine and Araceli, I'm so glad you made it. Cool, okay.
I think
All
B.
right. B, okay.
D.
D, okay, cool. Someone who chose A, tell me why you think ad A is the best ad.
Because usually the kitchen sells the home.
The kitchen sells the home. All right, I like that.
More information.
More information. Yeah, it gives you all the details, right? Yeah. Someone who chose D, tell me why you picked D.
I chose D because it doesn't have a lot of information, which would, well, according to Ben, says that they would reach out to you for information.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you all the answer. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, but you'll be able to guess because now we're going to learn. Are you a good ad or a bad ad? So let's see this one. Are you a good ad or a bad ad? You all tell me.
Now I think it's a bad. Yeah.
Now you think it's a bad ad?
I think it's a bad. I don't like this one.
We've changed our tune a little. It's a bad ad. Here's why. Our goal of our ad is not to sell the listing. The goal of our ad is to generate leads. If I have told you everything that you want to know about the home without having to click on it, what has motivated you to click on my ad? On top of that, our goal is not to sell this house. And what that means is I am not looking to eliminate anybody, right? So if I look at this ad and I go, oh, I'm sorry, I need, 4 bathrooms. I mean, this has 4 bed, 3 bath. So I don't know I only want 3 bedrooms, right? Okay, I've automatically eliminated myself. Oh, that's out of my price range. I've eliminated myself. Oh, that's not the city I want to live in. I've eliminated myself. My goal is not to generate leads to sell this home. My goal is to generate leads so that I fill up my database with people who want to buy something or sell something. It doesn't need to be this property. So I don't want to eliminate anybody by giving them a reason not to click. I also don't want to give them everything they need. I've got the address. I've got all the information. I can go look it up myself on Zillow. I don't need to click on your ad to get more information, right? So was it Mary? You were exactly right. We want to give less information. Tracy, you are 100% correct that kitchens sell homes, but kitchens don't sell ads, it turns out.
Right.
This is something we learned because we all thought the same thing as market center tech trainers, that if you've got a beautifully updated kitchen, like it's clearly the jewel of the listing, obviously you want to put that on the ad. And it turns out that even if it's the most beautiful kitchen you've ever seen, if it is not the aesthetic of the person looking at it, they will not click on it, which is shocking to me. But like, if that person's like, I don't like white cabinets, they won't click on it. Doesn't matter that a cabinet can be painted. They don't care. So we've learned you don't put kitchens in a listing or in an ad. Now, we wanted to talk a little bit about Facebook posts versus Facebook ads. The rules are completely opposite. So in an ad, I'm going to give you very little information. I am not going to show you inside the house. I'm not going to tell you where it is. I'm not going to give you the stats on the home or the price. But in a post where that is going to people who are already in my sphere of influence, those are people who are already in my database, I have a relationship with, they follow me on Facebook, I'm going to give them all the information. I'm going to give them place, price, stats, multiple photos. I'm going to show them the kitchen. I'm going to do all of those things in a post because my goal in the post is to generate conversation, to create brand awareness, to sell that listing. Like these are all the things I'm trying to do in my Facebook business page and my posts. So for that goal, I am going to give you a bunch of information, but for an ad, I'm going to give you just enough information to make you want some more. So let's play this game again. Are you a good ad or a bad ad? You tell me.
Good.
Good. Why?
I don't know enough.
That's right. Where is this listing?
What's the inside look like?
Right. We never show people the inside. We always do one good exterior photo. That's it. That's all you get. We don't tell them where. You know, when I go to write the ad copy for this ad, I'm going to say things like move in ready, convenient location. I might say stainless steel appliances, things that tell you stuff without telling you anything at all. Right? So I'm going to use exciting real estate buzzwords, right? New carpet, new roof, room to roam, you know, things like that don't really give you anything you actually need to know. I'm going to make you click to see that. And then I'm always going to say, click learn more to see inside, or schedule a tour, or for more photos. I'm going to tell you why you're going to click on my ad, right? I'm going to give you what you want. We're going to have a transaction, right? You're going to give me your information. In exchange, I'm going to give you all the things you're curious about. So this is one photo, one exterior photo. The only kind of asterisk on that is if it's a condo, then we don't show an exterior photo of the building. That doesn't do well. So we'll give them a living room or something like that. No specifics, right? I didn't tell them anything about the listing. I left them wanting more. So let's play this one more time. Are you a good ad or a bad ad? Which one's the best ad?
D.
Who said C and who said D? I feel like we have some of both, right? Which is common,
Yeah.
right?
Joe
Okay.
said C. Yeah.
The answer is D, because the one thing I didn't touch on is we found that big text right over the top of the house doesn't do well. I love that this is the one ad, like visually speaking, it's the one I like the best. But we found that those don't get clicks as much as kind of letter D. So D would be the best ad to garner the most leads.
I see the goal.
Any questions about what makes a good ad versus a bad ad?
No, this is very enlightening.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Give you a second if anybody else has any other questions. I'm gonna check the chat, see if there's anything in the chat.
Would you be able to go back one slide?
I sure
I
could.
was just taking notes and wanted to just jot down.
Yeah.
That. So, okay. So one photo. Got it.
Mhm. Of course. Any other questions? Oh, I was going to attach my Remarkable so I could write things on my makeshift whiteboard and I forgot. So we'll skip that. That's okay. Okay. No questions. I'll keep moving. Okay. Recommended ads to run. I will tell you right now, this is a slide that I stole from somebody else and I don't agree with all of it. And I'll tell you why and when I disagree with it. So types of ads to run. We know that listing ads do the best. So if you have a listing, you should 100% be advertising it. That if your goal is lead generation, there's nothing that will ever be better for you than advertising the heck out of a listing. Side note, just because we are talking about Facebook post best practices too, you had some questions about that. A listing should garner you at least 4 social posts. You want to post when it's just listed. You want to post when it's gone pending. You want to post when it's sold. And you want to post a picture of the family on like move in, get the keys day. The reason is social media is all about your forward presence, staying top of mind. And when you post regularly about your real estate activities, nobody realizes you have posted 4 times about the same house. They go, wow, that person's really busy. They do a lot of business. And that makes them want to do business with you. So you always want to be posting all the steps along the way of your listing so you can get the most activity out of those things. So anytime you have a listing, take amazing advantage of it. It's also going to help you get more listings, which we all want all the time. A virtual tour listing ad, I'm not seeing those gain a ton of interaction. If I'm taking you, if my link takes you to a video that is the virtual tour, I'm seeing a lot more action on that than I'm seeing on like you posting a video ad on Facebook. The reason being, people will gladly sit there and watch the video. So it'll get that view count up. But once people are done watching the video, they're not clicking on it. That's what we're seeing. They're going, okay, I've seen what I need to see. People have a TikTok level attention span now, which means you've got about 30 seconds. So they're going to watch the 30-second video and then keep scrolling. They're not going to dive further. That's just what we see. Lists. This one is huge. And this is where I want you to focus if you do not have a listing, or if you're not, partnered with some agents in your office and you guys are sharing listings, which is great to do, by the way. Advertise each other's listings. It's lead gen for you and free advertising for them. It's great. But lists, people love lists. They love things like, here's a list of homes with open houses this weekend. Here's a list of homes in your area under 700,000. Here is a list of homes that recently had a price reduction. Here is a list of homes on acreage. Whatever it is, people love lists. And it's really easy to do that between command agent sites and command campaigns, because what you can do on your agent site, and I assume if you're not using KW agent sites, I kind of assume this works across the board. But if I wanted to run an ad that was homes in Everett, Washington under 700,000, let's say, I can go to my website and I'm going to search Everett. And then in the filters, I'm going to put a price of under 700,000. So I'm only looking at current active listings under 700,000. Then I can take the URL for that website, like what's in the bar at the top, the website address. And that's where my ad will point to. When people click learn more, they get sent to that page. And that page is a list of homes that meet their requirements. Here's what's great about using KW agent sites, and I don't know that this is true across the board, is that KW agent site, those links are evergreen. And what that means is they're not going to be looking at information that was current at the time that you created the ad. They're going to see whatever is current when they click it. So if something new came on the market, that's going to show up. If something went pending, it's going to go away. So whenever they click on the ad, they're getting the most current information. This is a great option if you don't have a listing to advertise. People love lists, or to be able to see like they're getting a big bulk of information. These work really, really well. Free home evaluation. I don't see a good click level with these, if I'm being honest. The nice thing about this is the leads that you do get are usually real human beings who own a piece of property. And if you are sending them to a link like your cloud CMA and letting them put in their home address, you're getting that information. So on top of getting their name and their email address and their phone number, you're also getting their home. And you can have better quality conversations with people who may be willing to list and maybe looking at that as opposed to buyers. So the quality of those leads are really good in that respect, but you're not going to get a lot of them. So just manage your expectations if you're going to run that kind of an ad. The last ad is a recruiting ad, and I wish I had some stats on these because I have been running. Do you guys have K-score at KW Everett?
Yes.
Cool. So I've been running K-scores for ads for my agents to help them grow their profit share tree. If you're going to run an ad talking about K-score, make sure you are using the provided verbiage and the provided text. We have to be very specific about how we speak about that program because we would like to not get sued. So there's KWRI created language for running those ads, but we are doing very well with running K-score ads for people who are interested in real estate school and getting their real estate license. And we're helping our agents grow their profit share tree that way. In our office, I think last time I checked, we have like 800 people enrolled in K-score. All of that is agent referral. So that is definitely, if that's something you're interested in, we find those are doing very, 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 very well. Any questions about ad type?
I think we're good.
Okay. Okay, we don't need that yet. I want to show you now in Command why we run ads through Command. So does there anybody here who knows about the Facebook command connection, the relationship that Keller Williams has with Facebook? Is anybody educated on that? Oh, I get to tell you something new. I'm very excited. Okay, well, I'm going to stop my screen share so we can chat. Okay, so Facebook and Keller Williams are actually in relationship with one another, which means that CEOs of Facebook are often sitting in the offices of Keller Williams and vice versa. And they talk to each other. They talk about the back end of Facebook. They talk about the back end of Command. They talk about the goals of an agent. They talk with Facebook about their goals. They talk about how to make that relationship mutually beneficial. There are a few reasons why this is great for you. One, it means that we are the only real estate company in, my understanding is the world, that both Google and Facebook will say they're in business with, which is huge for you to be able to say. The second thing it does for you is that Facebook was integral in building out the back end of Command. Few things that does for you. If you have the Facebook URL of the people in your database, you can actually tell your ads to target the people that are already in your database. So say I met a bunch of people at open house and I have their information and I put it in Command. I can actually ask Command to target my ads so that those people see them. And how great is that? If you meet somebody at an open house and then all of a sudden, you know, your stuff keeps popping up on their Facebook feed and on their Instagram feed, and all of a sudden you're just everywhere. You know, that feels like a sign from the universe that you should be in business with this person. Facebook is great in that if you don't have the Facebook URL and you want to target your database, they're going to look at that person's email. And if that person's email matches their email on Facebook, they're going to target them. If they don't have the email, they're going to look at that person's address and go, okay, well, you know, Kelly lives in Everett and I've got a Kelly that lives in Everett in Facebook. Maybe they're the same person, and it'll do its best. The other reason this is great is that campaigns is specifically written with Facebook's insight on how that we should do that. So those are the Facebook KW connection gives you a lot of extra kind of superpowers. There's a few other reasons why I highly suggest you always run your ads through campaigns in Facebook, even if you're not using, or campaigns in Command, even if you're not using Command for anything else. The biggest one for me is you can't break the law very easily if you run your ads through campaigns in Facebook. Here's what I mean. Facebook ads run straight through Facebook are very targetable. You can target people's price points and their current locations and their ethnicities and their ages. And these are all things that can get you in big giant trouble with the Fair Housing Administration. I often have agents tell me, I prefer to run my ads through Facebook because I can target them so much better. Like, yes, you know why you can't do that in Command? Because it's against the law and we're trying to keep you out of real jail and Facebook jail. So if you run your ads through campaigns in Facebook, it eliminates the choices that can cause you to violate the Fair Housing Administration. Make sense?
It does.
Yeah. The last reason that it's really, it doesn't, Terry, why?
Every marketing and strategies, working with big corporations. I was in marketing for 30 years.
Yeah.
They all do target whatever the message is, the target should match it.
But you as a real estate agent are not allowed to target to socioeconomic or like ethnicity and those kinds of things. So while any other company is happy to do that, they can target whoever the heck they want because they don't have a Fair Housing Administration.
Okay.
Which is why in Facebook proper, it gives you all those options because other companies would love to target that way. That is not an option available to you. The last reason, does that answer your question, Terry?
Yes.
Okay. The last reason to run your ads through command instead of through Facebook proper is because of the buying power. When you're paying for ads through Facebook, that's you and your little $30 budget. Now imagine you, let's see, I'm gonna pick on Shirley. Shirley owns Shirley Ann's Cookies. And she wants to run an ad for her Shirley Ann's Cookies. And she's got, you know, $50 to spend on advertising this month. But Toll House has also decided they're going to run an ad for their cookies. But Toll House has $1 million to spend. Who do you think has the bigger buying power and who's going to get a better result? Shirley Ann and her $30 or Toll House and their $1 million? Toll House, right? So when you buy an ad and you pay for it through command, you're not actually paying Facebook straight together. You are paying basically into a pool of KW, and KW shows up to Facebook with their like $100,000 and buys a big chunk of ads. So you are getting, your individual $30 is actually getting that $100,000 push. So you get the perk of the big money ad spend with your little tiny ad money. If you run your ads by yourself through Facebook, you don't get that. You don't get the bonus of that. So all of that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So that being said, you can do whatever you want, but I'd highly suggest you run your ads through command. So I'd love to show you around a little bit of what that can look like. Does that sound good?
Yes, please.
Cool. All right. I'm going to shrink you all down. So I'm in my command here. And I'm going to go to campaigns, which is the lovely little megaphone.
We don't see it yet. You're not sharing.
Oh, I'm not sharing. I forgot I turned off my screen share. Hold that thought. Thank you. You'd be
I
shocked.
never do that, so.
You would be shocked how many times I have taught for like 20 minutes before someone told me I wasn't screen sharing. Okay. So this is my command campaigns. Everybody see it now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to hop in to create a social ad paid. This is an ad. An ad goes out to people I don't know yet who are in my target market, who I'm trying to make aware of myself and my content. A social post is free and it's going to people who already know me. Those are the differences. So we're going to work on a social ad. I'm just going to give it a name and I'm going to choose listing just because it's at the top. And because my goal is to generate leads, I'm only going to choose Facebook. Now, again, if my goal is brand recognition or getting specific people's eyes on this specific listing, things like that, I may also choose Instagram. I don't know of anybody advertising on Twitter, and I haven't heard about anybody using it at any kind of a high level. So we're going to create campaign. Because I chose listing, it wants me to pick a listing, which I'm not going to do. Okay, so few things to make note of. We already know that in our main copy, we're going to give information without giving information. So I'm going to say things like just listed, move-in ready, convenient location. I'm always going to tell the truth. I'm never going to say it's move-in ready if it's not, but I'm going to choose buzzwords that are accurate to this listing. I am also probably going to put emojis in this. We find that that does better, but is definitely something to check with your A/B testing. And you can access emojis by clicking the little happy face in the right-hand corner. I am not going to use words that could get my ad denied. The biggest one we see is alcohol-related words. You can't run an ad with an alcohol-related word. That means if your listing has a wine cellar, don't say that. The word wine is going to get your ad flagged. You don't want to say things like pub height counters. Any words associated with alcohol are going to cause you a problem. That's really the biggest one that we see. So just make sure you avoid it. This headline section, that is what people look at first. So that's going to be our attention grabber. We're going to say things like, this one will go fast, or check out this brand new listing, or lakefront retreat, or whatever is kind of a buzzword that might make somebody stop for a second. This description section is where we're going to tell them why they should click the Learn More button. So we're going to say things like learn more to see, or click Learn More to see inside. Click Learn More for photos and information. Click Learn More to set up a tour. Whatever, we're always going to say what they get for clicking on the Learn More. What is the motivation? So click Learn More to get access to the list, right? Click Learn More to get a free CMA on your house. Whatever it is, this is where we're going to put that. Any question about the copy?
In the headline or in this area, do you use emojis or just in that?
I tend to only use them in the main copy and not in the other places. You certainly can. But what I'm seeing is emojis in the top slows people's eyes down long enough, and really all you need is good bold text in that headline.
Okay, thank you.
Where does the click more to learn more? Is that in the description? Or?
In the description is where we put the click Learn More and tell them why, what they get for that. So that top section is my buzzwords. The headline is my attention grabber. The description is the what's in it for me. Why should I click your button?
Thank you.
You're welcome. The next is the media. Again, we kind of talked about what should be in our images. Highly suggest leveraging command designs for these. The templates are great. I will say that the templates don't know the rules about ads because they are also designed for Facebook posts. So it often has spaces for the bed and the bath and that stuff. It is okay to delete all those fields and not put anything in them. So don't feel like because the template has a spot for it, you have to put it in. You know that you're running an ad, not a post. You know what you need to do. So feel free to eliminate items. And please use designs. This is not a part of this training and I'm out of minutes to say it, but it's important. I find that agents get into design analysis paralysis around posts and advertising and content, and they want it to be perfect. And it's really easy to spend 2 hours painstakingly making sure that your image is perfect, that it's the right color red, and that, I've gone through 200 fonts to find the one I like the best, and those kinds of things. I have a 1-to-10 ratio rule. You are not allowed to spend more than 10 minutes working on something that someone's going to look at for a minute or less. For every minute someone will look at it, you are allowed to spend 10 minutes creating it. Any more than that, and it is not worth your time. So take that for what it's worth. I will move on from my soapbox. Facebook settings. This is where you connect to your Facebook business page. We always use Facebook lead generation form. That is what allows Facebook to send you their information. So that means I've clicked Learn More and Facebook automatically is going to send you their name, email, address, and phone number. If you don't choose that option and you choose site or landing page, what you are saying is I would like the person to click on my ad. Then I would like them to click OK to move to the page that I'm sending them to. Then I am trusting them to put in their own information and for it to be correct and accurate. Doesn't happen. So we always use Facebook lead generation form, even if where we're ultimately sending them has a lead capture form as well. We're always using Facebook lead generation form. For the button label, they do give us 4 options, and the only option you ever want to use is Learn More. Even if you want them to contact you, even if you want them to apply for something or sign up for something, people are not scrolling Facebook looking to commit to anything. And those other 3 options feel way too committal for someone. But Learn More is, requires nothing of them. They're way more motivated to click it. And then website URL or choose landing pages where you're going to send them. So that's like, if we're searching a list, we're going to grab that URL, we're going to add it here, or we're going to send them to the listing, or we're going to send them to our cloud CMA page. Wherever we're sending them, this is where we put that information. all ads must go somewhere. So you do have to send them to a URL of some sort. Now down here, we have audiences to choose from. This auto audience is very new. So I'm still doing some A/B testing between auto audience and custom audiences. And what I'm finding is I'm generating a lot of leads that look to be like they're pretty good leads. What I haven't had enough opportunity to test yet is what the quality of the auto audience leads is versus the quality of the custom leads. So I won't speak to that because I'm just not sure. But when I know, you'll know, and these are definitely something I would do A/B testing on. This auto audience came straight from the Facebook command connection. So the idea is that these auto audiences that are being generated are specific to what command as a whole, KWRI as a whole, is seeing is working. So my guess is I'm going to see a pretty good ROI on those auto audiences, but I can't speak to that for sure yet. In custom audiences, this is where I can create my own targeting. So I can come here down to add interests, and I can choose interests that I think might match my listing. I have 2 lists that I like, and I meant to screenshot them and add them to this presentation. It didn't happen. So what I will do is I will email them to Susie. I'll make sure they get out to you. I have a suggested targeting for like a generic listing, and I have one that's specific to luxury listings because that's a different target audience. So I have those like breakdowns of what those audiences should look like. I would gladly send them to you. And I will tell you, I partnered with Nick Baldwin to get them. So if you are on any of his Facebook pages and you have seen what he has posted, they're the same. We share the same thing. So, but I will make sure you guys have access to some ideas of target audiences for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then we come down here to lead settings. This is what happens to the lead once it comes in your system. So this is, how do I want the lead tagged so that I can easily find it? And how do I want to interact with that person by assigning them to a smart plan? Now, this is not a smart plans training. I could get into that. What's really important to know is a lead is only as good as your follow-up. So if you're garnering all of these leads, which hopefully you're really going to lead into this Facebook training and really dive into being able to do this properly, make sure you have a plan for how to follow up with those leads. We know it takes 12 plus attempts to reach out to one of these humans in order to get a hold of them most of the time. So make sure you know what your best practices are for your follow-up and for reaching out to these people so that you can turn those leads into genuine connections and get them in your pipeline. Please don't generate a bunch of leads and then do nothing with them. It makes me sad. Last thing we want to talk about is duration and budget. We did touch on this at the beginning. 5 to 7 days, $5 to $7 a day. You don't need to spend a lot of money to generate a lot of leads. Here's what's great. If you're doing something that's not listing focused, like a list, and you find that it's doing really well, you know, my open house list got a bunch of leads. Great. Run it again. Right? You don't have to be like, okay, now I need to run it for a month. Run them 7 days at a time, see how they're doing, keep running it as long as it's doing well. And if it starts to peter off, then you change focus and you try something else, right? So those shorter bursts allow you to keep a really good eye on what's working and when things are shifting. Always try to make it run over a weekend. So we like a, you know, Thursday to Monday, or, you know, Friday to Tuesday, something in those realm. You just get more people clicking on stuff over the weekend. So
can I ask a question about the open house one?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, actually, you might not know the answer, but can you run like an open house list in an area without having permission from that particular agent, or do you need permission?
So you can do it. Let me show you. So if you wanted to run for a particular listing, you're going to ask permission from that agent, and you're going to ask, and you're going to get it in writing. I don't care if it's your friend, you're going to say like, shoot me an email. But let's say I wanted homes in Maple Valley with an open house this weekend. So I'm going to search Maple Valley, and I'm going to come over here to my filters, and I'm going to do open houses only.
Okay.
So now I have a list of the open houses in the area This is public knowledge. I don't need anybody's permission to run an ad on this.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
Good question though.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna do a quick review here. I'm gonna come back to this slide in just a second. Just to recap what we talked about today. So we talked about the track records for success, why we want to run Facebook ads, why to focus on those, and what metrics we're seeing right now. We talked about what makes a good ad versus a bad ad, dynamic and engaging ads. And we talked about ads best practices and how to set those up in Command. I'm going to open it up to a few questions. I know we are past time, so I will respect your time. But also I would love your feedback. I'm always trying to improve my courses. This is the first time I've taught this one via Zoom, so I would especially love your feedback. But if you could scan that code, that's going to take you to a survey about this class. I would really genuinely love your feedback on how you found this class. I am happy to stick around for another 10 minutes or so and answer any questions that you have. But if you need to go, I completely understand and I appreciate your time.
Crystal, I have a question.
Yeah.
I was, doing the dummy one, the test with you. I put in the address, it showed no results. So I thought, oh, maybe I did something wrong. I just went back and put in the MLS that I know is good, and it still says no results. What am I doing wrong?
On KW agent sites, or where are you?
I'm inside my personal KW command.
Are you only looking at see only my listings? Like I think it's in like the top right corner. There's like only my listings or an all listings.
Oh, does that make a difference?
Yeah, only my listings doesn't work. So you have to search all listings.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Oh,
I see there's some chat. I'll see if there's anything. Oh, just thanks yous. Well, you're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, well, I will hang out a few more minutes in case anybody thinks of anything or has anything they want to say, but thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any questions? No. Who knew that saying wine cellar is going to get you in jail?
Right?
Or bar height?
Oh, it'll at least get your listing or your ad denied.
Yes, yeah.
Which is such a pain.
And do they tell you what the offense is?
I've never had an ad denied, so I don't know.
Okay.
I should ask somebody.
Right. And I like the A/B testing too, so you can see what's going to work best for each scenario. That's a great idea.
Absolutely. Ara, I see your question. All of my trainings are on the RBN training calendar, which is pinned at the top of our Facebook page. That's my sneaky way of saying I don't know when my next class is. So take a look. Terry, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
I reran your Sumner ad and I'm rerunning Lake Fenwick ad, the one that was doing the best. So I checked on them this morning. They looked like they were doing what they're supposed to be doing. There's already a lead on the Sumner one.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was just texting you, wondering where we were on both of those.
Well, there you go.
Thanks.
There's your answer. I did them last night.
Perfect. Thank you.
You are welcome.
How long are they running?
I think I ran them through Tuesday, but I will check.
Okay.
I don't remember. I ran like 20 ads yesterday, so I can't keep them all straight.
Yeah, if you have the ability to adjust them to Wednesday, that'd be okay.
Okay.
About $7 based on this class, about $7.
However many days it's running, your ad budget is $7.50 a day. I can tell you that.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on them for you.
Okay. Do we know why we weren't getting any leads on Sumner?
I have no idea. It had no impressions, nothing, like nobody had seen it. So I don't know why it wasn't running. I reset it. I tweaked some things and it's doing fine now. So it was just a fluke.
Okay. Thanks.
Does Command,
Yeah.
sorry there, does Command automatically extract the contact's information and load it into a command so you can start doing the smart plan for?
So yeah, so a
Please.
Facebook ad run through command. If they click the learn more button and they move through the process and become an actual lead, whatever name, email address, and phone number they have associated with Facebook goes straight into your contacts as a contact. In campaigns, you also have the ability in that process to automatically tag that lead and start them on a smart plan. So the way I like to describe it is you could theoretically run an ad, go to Hawaii for the weekend, and by the time you come back, you've already sent that person, a text message and 2 emails, and you have a task to call them. So it's a great way to systematize your communication around these Facebook ads.
And you can separate that lead from the rest of your contacts.
Yeah, you would just do that with the tags feature. And they'll also be tagged as a lead. So you can just sort by your leads and see it.
Right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Crystal, Terry again. Do you want to run through showing us how to identify how many leads we're getting on in each one?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me move you all out of the way. Do you mind if we hop into your account, Terry? Because I'm not running any ads.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, so we go to campaigns again, which is the megaphone. And we have this dashboard, which gives us a few things. It tells us what our spend has been, how much of that went to Facebook versus Instagram. We can click and see how many leads total we have, how many campaigns we've run. And right here, we can see what was top performing. So what's doing the best? So the most leads, the lowest cost per lead, and the most engagement, which means I looked at it, maybe I hearted it or favorited it, things like that. But I can hop over here to paid ads, and that's where I'm going to see a really good dashboard of everything I'm currently running. So I can see all of my completed ads, and I see those metrics. So I see how many days it ran, how many impressions it got, how many clicks it got, and how many leads it generated. With these ones where I'm running on 2 channels, I can separate it by Facebook and Instagram. So I can see, okay, I got way more leads on Facebook, but I got more impressions on Instagram. So more people saw it. So that gives me an idea to know where I want to focus my time and my energy. Now, while all of these leads are in my database, so I could go to contacts and find them, I can also click anything teal in command is clickable. I can click this and actually see those leads, a list of those leads. So I can see the name, the email address, the phone number, when they clicked, and what tags they have at this point. So these ones that have Facebook leads and Lake Taps listings, that tells me that they've actually clicked on more than one of my ads, which is interesting information to have. So that's where I can see what's happening with my ads. It's all here in the campaigns section.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Any other questions I can help with? All right. Well, I think I am going to head out then. I was happy to be here. And if you could, Susie, if you can send me the recording,
Absolutely.
I would be eternally grateful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.